Hello, everybody. A lot of things happened this weekend. Trump went to a McDonald's and served fries. All of the point to troll Kamala, which I thought was hilarious, and it was good because it just shows the guy's human side, his likability. The guy's always been a huge McDonald's fan, so I thought it was fitting that when she's like, "I used to work the fryer at McDonald's," he's like, "Oh yeah, bitch, watch this," and so that's what he kind of did. Yeah, I got some clips of that, but also like well, I shouldn't get into. Well, might as well. Alex Jones is like on the rant because there was more than just the fryer thing. I guess that's the thing that's gonna escape everybody or what have you, but there was like leaked Pentagon documents talking about Israel wanting to like bomb Iran and shit, and that could be bad. That could be a start of World War III. As a matter of fact, if anybody remembers, we didn't want Russia and Iran and China ever getting together, and that happened during this administration. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were so out of their minds in their foreign policy and who they elected as their leaders that they pushed those three countries together. And for last 3 years now, you got the BRICS and all that kind of stuff, and they're just they're now like the tone is set for World War III. Kim Jong Un is sending troops into Russia to help fight Ukraine. Ukraine says it wants nuclear weapons, and it's pretty much like Alex Jones was like he was going through something today on his podcast or his show. He didn't have a podcast, but his show, and he was talking about how there's like different articles, but he was referring to the Build article, and I think that's like some sort of Russian or not Russian but German newspaper article, and it was basically what he was going after. What he was saying was like, hey, yeah, NATO is basically telling Russia, let Ukraine into NATO, or NATO's going to greenlight Russia, or not Russia, but Ukraine having nuclear weapons. Ukraine used to have nuclear weapons back in the day, apparently. But there was some sort of deal where when Russia let NATO become a country and the Cold War ended, that they took out all the nuclear weapons out of Ukraine. And now Ukraine's like, well, we want them again. And it's like, dude, I don't know who's running the foreign policy at NATO or the United States, but they obviously don't like the world itself. They think that they can live out in bunkers or something like that. I mean, it's like, like we were watching Fallout the other day, and it's like, okay, that's what's going on here. But it's pretty bad. Ukraine doesn't deserve to have nuclear weapons. There's a huge amount of Nazis in Ukraine. I don't even know why we're putting money up for it, and when it was against the Nazis, Russia was our ally. China was our ally against Nazis. And then Operation Paperclip, they divided up all the Nazi scientists and, fucking the scholars and all that kind of stuff. And half of them went to Russia, half of them went to the United States through Operation Paperclip and the Vatican rat lines. You can look all this stuff up. Type in Vatican rat lines, read all about it. Type in Operation Paperclip, read all about it. Werner von Braun, big Nazi, helped us get to the moon. So, and the problem is, I think so, like in Russia, I think they did use these scientists the same way we did. However, they did not allow them to become huge parts of our institution or our government. They basically extracted information and made sure that they were lonely souls till the end. I think we kind of did the same thing to Nikola Tesla for some reason. Don't know why. Guy was a fucking genius. But anyway, so Apparently, NATO's telling, or at least signaling to Russia, you either let Ukraine in or we're going to give them nuclear missiles. 14 days until Trump gets in. 14 days. Well, 13 now until the election. So, God, I really hope Trump gets in because he's got to put a stop to this. And then I really, 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 really hope that he cleans house. And we'll get to that here in a second. But first, the funny thing, you got to laugh at life or life's not worth living. If you take everything too serious, you're going to lose it and not understand the whole point why God put you here. Whether he put you here to just laugh and enjoy life or he put you here to struggle. I think everybody struggles. Definitely not fucking the monarchs and the political elite. They don't struggle, but we struggle. But levity is always better for us. It makes us laugh. It makes us make good choices. We step back. We look at the full picture. And we go, yeah, this is screwed up. This is not. And, the whole thing with like China and Xi Jinping, he's like now in military outfits, saying just like 2 days ago, we have to be prepared for war against the United States. Well, that's because Israel is our ally. Iran, they gave a bunch of money to Iran, and Iran used that to fund these terrorist groups to say, our fingers are not dirty. It was these coalitions, but we clearly know it's them. And they did the October 7th thing. What was really weird was the Israeli government like stood down for like 7 hours. I remember one guy was like trying to bring this up to Sean Hannity, but you're on Sean Hannity's podcast or radio show, and he's like, I'm not going to talk about this, blah, 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 and just totally overtalked the guy and filibustered. I've already talked about Sean Hannity and why the guy's a fucking cheese dick and a fake martial artist. And I think his sensei is fake too. Just look at the whole George Floyd thing. Look at anything Hannity says about the George Floyd thing, and the guy's full of shit, especially if you know anything about martial arts. You can't kill a guy by kneeling down on him the way Derek Chauvin kneeled down on George Floyd. George Floyd was full of fentanyl. He had enough fentanyl in him to kill a elephant. You watch the whole like 10, 15-minute clip. He wants to be pulled out. He wants to be put on the ground. He's already saying, I can't breathe when he's upright in the vehicle. I don't want to get into it. There's bruises on his head and chin, which shows that he was moving his head. So the cop wasn't kneeling down on that special point on his neck that would kill a person, like Sean Hannity says. Sean Hannity is he is a piece of work himself. I think the guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when he talks about martial arts. Me having been into martial arts longer than he has, he's a douchebag and a dumbass. And I think his sensei is fake. That's just me. But anyways, let's get off of Sean Hannity. But I wanted to just do some like laughter things, but at the same time, we're talking about Trump here. We're talking about Trump retaking the White House. I really want Trump to retake the White House. He deserves the White House. The 2020 election was stolen. Don't make me do a podcast out of that, because I will scour the internet and I will show you all the shit that made it so suspect. I'll show you all the things. It'd take like 20 hours. It'd be like a 20-hour podcast of all the discrepancies. The people saying that they were bringing in loads of, like the one guy out of like New Jersey who was hauling a truckload of ballots that were already filled out for Joe Biden. You get the little spike in election. If you want to go through that, I suggest, don't make me do it. Have Crowder do it. Watch Alex Jones. They'll show you exactly what happened on election 2020. You could probably find it on band.video, or you can go, pardon me, and scour the YouTuber Crowder site and find all that stuff. And they have all their references below. I don't want to go through it. I'm just saying Trump should have been there for these last 4 years. Joe Biden stole it. I think, honestly, his name should be erased from the presidential record. Kamala Harris is just an idiot. She's faker than he is. And I think once Trump gets in there, I think Trump needs to seriously try people for treason. Like when they go, oh, Trump's going to go in there and he's going to use the military and go after his political enemies. Go ahead. I have no problem with that. You asked for it. You did that to him. All those people on January 6th when they stormed the Capitol, and there was only like 200-300 of them, but you went after thousands of them just because their cell phone data pings at the Capitol. Yeah. You went after your political opponents, and you just didn't do Trump. You went after his supporters, and you like tried to scare them all, going, "Hey, don't ever do this. Don't ever think about doing this, or we'll go after you." Just like these, they took some like 60 or 70-year-old lady dying of cancer, grandmother dying of cancer. She has like only a couple years left to live, but she's going to spend 7 of those months, behind bars, even though she didn't do anything other than walk in when Capitol Police guided her into the building. So, no, I think when Trump gets in there, he should clean house, and he should use the full weight of the government to go after these people that did this to him and that did this to the people that they persecuted for January 6th and other things. Now, I get it. There's some, violence there and everything like that, but everything has to be taken into context. When you have Capitol Police launching tear gas into their own front line to disorient their own front line, and then they start firing tear gas and bullets, rubber bullets, into the crowd and throwing flashbangs into a peaceful crowd. Yeah, it's time to go through. And then you got the whole the DC jail, the gulag. They call it the DC gulag, where these guys are kept in solitary confinement. They're damn near butt ass naked, sleeping on a cold frozen floor, crappy fucking, mildew fucking water. I'm sorry, I'm swearing so much, but mildew water to drink. And a lot of these people, a lot of them serve their country. You guys went too far. That's why I said I'll never, ever vote for a Democrat. As a matter of fact, anybody ever asked me about the Democrats, I'll tell them the truth about how evil that party is and has always been. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Kennedys, they're good people, but they got in through the help of the mob. That's how Kennedy got a spot in the presidency. Supposedly, his dad was fucking working for the mob, and that's one of the reasons why he was killed, because he went back on the mob. He was like, "Hey, I'm glad that they got us in, but we need to go after these people because they can get us in. Who else can they get in?" And I get that. But the Democratic Party was the party of slavery. It's always been this party of slavery. The Democrat Party is the party of Jim Crow laws. It has always been that. It baffles my mind why black people would either join or be a part of or even support the Democratic Party. It just doesn't register. Jefferson Davis was a Democrat. His opponent, Abraham Lincoln, was a Republican. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president. He's the one that freed the slaves, and he fought the Civil War against Jefferson Davis. And I'm sorry you people don't know history, but they go, "Oh, what was it? Was it Lyndon B. Johnson?" So the guy, after Kennedy got his head blown off, Lyndon B. Johnson took over, and he's the one that survived this or wrote or signed the Civil Rights Act. So, one of the things he said, he said, "I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And the black people that vote for Democrats," he was talking about you. He was talking about how stupid you were that you would vote for his party after everything they've done. And what do? Like there's a lot of black people in the Democratic Party, but what are they? They're racist. They're racist just like the white people in the Democrat Party are racist. They're racist just like the slaveholders. Kamala Harris, her great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother in Jamaica owned a slave plantation. The Democrat Party are nothing but racist piece of shit. And they don't know it. And the people that go with them, they don't know that either. They're like, "Oh, the Democrat Party, that's all for us." No. And I get it. I mean, I hate the Republicans too. They're the only ones with common sense. I think the Tea Party took them over. And when Trump got in there, that made a big thing. But the Republicans were literally the Republican Party was literally made to free the slaves. It was like, we got to start a party that's, anti-slavery. Let's do it. And Abraham Lincoln was their first black president, their first president, and he freed all the slaves. Well, he didn't really free all the slaves. He just kind of made everybody slaves. Everybody's, you want to get into Jordan Maxwell, you want to get into words. Citizen is basically a serf, subject to or subject of. If you're a subject, you're a slave. It's my only problem with them. And they became the big party of big corporation, big business, all that kind of stuff. But that all went away. Now it's the Democrats. Now it's the Democrats are the party of big corporations, big capitalism, all that kind of stuff. And then they go, oh no, we're communists down with capitalism. No. They're doing everything that BlackRock and Vanguard are telling them to do. They're doing all those talking points. If you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you, But anyway, so and I guess that's why, the people played the Trump card. Donald Trump for president, Republican side. We've already infiltrated it. The libertarians and the Tea Party, they went in there and they started kicking out the rhinos. Rhino stands for Republican in name only. Other than that, they vote along, with the big party, the big government. Conservatives are like smaller government, but now when you see conservatives on the news, they don't really represent conservatism. This one guy, I forgot who it was, but he's like, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because I'm a conservative. And it's like, what's conservative for voting for that bitch? I mean, seriously, she's anti-gun, she's anti-fracking, she's anti-capitalism, she's anti-business. She doesn't even know how to run an economy. I mean, it's fucking mind-blowing. But I want to get on to lighter notes. So Trump, I got to import this in real quick. Trump went ahead and went to McDonald's because Kamala said that she is one of those gals that knows how to work a fryer or what have you. She said she supposedly said that she has worked at McDonald's before, and so Trump put that to the test. So here we go, and we're gonna import this in, and let's watch it.
Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I love McDonald's.
He does like it all.
I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries while I'll be working. I listened to Kamala. She said it was so hot. It was so hot. It was such a tough job. But don't you have a man that's been doing it for many years at the French fries, right?
I want to learn everything.
We're going to see. I'm going to learn how to do it right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome here.
What we're going to do is we're going to grab a bag of fries.
Right.
Take them out. We're going to slowly and gently lower them in so that we don't burn ourselves. We're going to hit the fry timer. And then we got a lot of fries made, so we're going to cut another basket out. Grab the basket out. Gently lower it in.
Gotta be quick with those fries, Trump. Gotta be quick with those fries.
Now, within a couple seconds, a duty timer is going to go off. When that duty timer goes off, that basically means that the fries, we need to lift them out of the oil and shake them so that way they don't get stuck together.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to put it back down. We're going to let the fryer cook. And then when they're done, we're going to bring them over here.
Good job, isn't it? Huh? Not bad, right?
Yeah, very good job.
You have a nice owner. Be careful. He's right there. Be careful. 8 years. That's the end of that.
You want to give it a try?
That's one thing about Trump is that he knows how to joke around with people.
We're going to grab a basket, 2 hands. And then you can go right into here on the left. Yep, slowly, right here. Slowly, gently lower it into the oil. Don't want to burn yourself. Top, down a little bit further. There you go. And then we're going to hit our fry timer right here. That one's going good. Now we can drop another one too. So we'll grab one more basket, 2 hands. Yep. We're going to put it right here.
I've never worked at McDonald's or anything like that. Always done trade work.
Good. And then we're just going to hit our fry timer right here. Yep.
But I've ate a lot of
timer.
McDonald's.
Now when that duty timer comes up, again, hit the timer. Take it out the oil slowly.
Goodness.
Give it a little shake so that way they don't get stuck together, and then lower them back into the oil.
Okay.
So this one will probably go off before anybody else. Oh, there we go.
Guy knows his job.
Yep, you're good. You got it.
He's been doing it for 8 years, apparently.
2 hands.
See if we could skip a little forward here.
Shake and then slowly back.
He's like, because he also does the drive-through. So you're trying to find something. All right, here's your. You're gonna
right here.
watch him work the drive-through real quick. Here we go. We'll fast forward. Here we go.
So, would you like to put the medium fries in the bag?
I think so, yeah. So
Right,
we'll do that.
Three, so we're gonna start.
Because you know who's taking these, right? Mine. Do they ever ask for more salt?
Sometimes.
Supposing we want some extra salt, can we just go like that?
We will give them salt packets.
Watch this sucker.
Yeah, I like a lot of salt on my fries.
I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some. I'm very superstitious. Now it's over the left shoulder. Now I'm okay. Let's go.
All right. So we're gonna start from this side.
Yeah,
okay?
fine.
Yeah, it's an old tradition.
How long
Right
have you
hand
done-
over the left
done
shoulder.
this? How long
You
have
throw
done
salt in the devil's eye.
I've been
When you
working
spill
now
salt, it's an
10
omen. It's a bad
10
omen.
plus?
So you
Wow.
grab it,
All
you
different
take
jobs?
right hand, throw it over your left
You doing a
shoulder.
good job? She better, right?
Throws it in the devil's eye.
Beautiful.
Thank
Let's
you.
go.
All right.
This guy's all, what the fuck's taking so long with my fries? Guy in the corner here.
All right.
How many
What's going on
you
here?
put in a bag like this? Like 6 you good? 6
No,
mediums?
5 is fine.
5?
Will fit the most. First order, get 3 medium fries, and they're waiting for you.
Okay, very good. Let's go. Oh, I see. Now I'm going to see that. Oh, that's your customer out there.
Yes.
Guy's all, hey, what's
Good.
up,
Okay,
Obie?
let's go. You believe this? Look at this guy. He's a MAGA guy all the way.
Okay, so for his first order, yup.
Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody.
They're all, just let them hand the bag over. They don't care.
This is not
It's
a
Donald
normal
Trump.
situation, is it? Huh? How are you? What a good-looking family. How did you produce those good-looking kids? Oh, they look like the wife. They look like the wife. How are you? Nice to see you. That's great. Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
This order right here.
Thank you.
She's only getting this order here.
Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? This, oh, you're going to some extra stuff.
Oh, okay, great.
This is all on Trump.
Oh, hold on.
I'm allowed to do that, right? Huh?
Let's check and make sure
That's
it's everything you said it would
It's
be.
better. It's going to be the best you ever. I made it myself.
Make America great.
That's their order. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time.
The man is just
Have
a
good
showman.
time. That's-
And he's
great.
literally, he's funny. He's
How cute.
classically funny.
Car.
Okay, next car.
Yes, they get both bags.
Do you like them both at the same time?
Yes, that is right.
Hello, how are you? You're a good-looking guy.
45, 47.
We love you. Come here, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will. I promise. Thank you very much. That's on me. Okay? Have a good time. Thank you very much.
They probably paid it though. There's like the McDonald's like this too. There's like already 2 windows. There's a window that picks up the cash, and there's a window that gives you the food.
Thousands of
I,
people.
yeah, I don't know if these guys already paid, but I don't care. I think they don't care.
Beautiful woman. Look at this beautiful child. The whole. It's like the perfect looking person. That's good. That's the compliment. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Hi, Mom. Look at Mom over there. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling.
Yeah, people want him back
You
in
have a great
office.
mom? Good
And the
or
guy,
great?
like I said, the guy's funny as hell. So I'm gonna go ahead. And just
You know what this
we'll
is.
just get
Thank
out of
you
this
very
one right
much.
here. I mean, literally, it's just it. He's great. And so there was a Tucker Carlson. I love watching Tucker. And I literally stopped watching Fox News after they took Tucker off the air. I was already like this close from never watching Fox again, but Tucker was still on there. It was like when they called Arizona for Joe Biden when like their polls were still open for a couple hours. And so Fox News has real big problems. Fox News fucking sucks. But they got Gutfeld, and so these days that's like the only thing I'll watch Gutfeld because he's funny. He likes Trump. And but other than that, I don't watch anybody else. I don't care about Hannity. He's such a fucking annoying cheese dick. And then the rest of them are bad as well. I mean, Dana Perino. Everybody's like, "Oh, Dana Perino's so great." Dude, she idolizes Hillary Clinton. Don't make me find the clips. You can fucking go on YouTube and fucking find Dana Perino, whatever that bitch's name is, fucking saying, "Oh, Hillary Clinton, you're my favorite," and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Fox News is horrible, just like CNN, MSNBC. There's only like a few shows that are good. But just get into that. But anyways, so Tucker had on Miranda Devine. Now, Miranda Devine was the gal that broke the laptop from hell through the New York Post. that's the whole thing where Hunter goes into this laptop or this computer repair station place, drops off his laptops and says, "Hey, I want them fixed," or what have you. He's all cracked out, forgets where he put them, and they wind up becoming this guy's property. He opens them up because they're now his. All the content on them are his. And he sees it and goes, "Wow," and like hands it over to Rudy Giuliani and the New York Post and everything like that, and they run the story. And that was when they went like, "Oh, that's total Russian disinformation. It's fake." They have all these ex-spies and current CIA people or what have you, current administration people, write a letter saying, "Oh, this is all Russian disinformation." Biden even uses it in one of the debates. He's like, "He's lying. That's all Russian disinformation." And Trump's like, "Really? Really? The laptop from hell is Russian disinformation. It's not. It's not your kid's laptop that shows all this crime and corruption and bribery and the $20 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife to your kid. No, it's all Russian disinformation. And there's all these people that said so in the intelligence community." And I think no, and to the intelligence community, this is one of the reasons why you need to be dissolved as well. Seriously, the federal bureaucracy is so huge, so bloated, and so special interest that it just needs to all gone through, fine-tooth comb, and people need to be charged with treason. I said this earlier. All their assets need to be taken, help pay off the national debt, throw these people in prison, maybe torture them a little bit. This one gal is like, "Oh, I agree with everything this guy says except for the torture." Well, you know what? I understand that, but screw these people, because you know what they do to you, what they would do to you if they thought that you had anything to do, or if they just wanted to punish you. The CIA would grab you and they would put you in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, or they would hand you off to the British government, or they would send you to Saudi Arabia. You'd take a flight with a bag over your head, duct taped up, everything like that, and then you're in a country where they can torture you. And everybody knows that torture doesn't yield good information. It doesn't. It really doesn't. If you do any kind of studying on torture is actually, mental torture is the best. Deprivation of time, sleep, food, making their life just miserable is one thing. Pulling their fingernails out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But any information that hardcore torture yields isn't reliable. With that being said, I wouldn't mind if we did it to them anyways. Just anyways. We already know what they did. We can, do all that. And once they give them that, then we can seriously torture them. And then just give these guys the last couple years of their lives, or the last 3 or 4 months of their lives, something really, really horrendous to send them to hell with, for what they did to our country and for what they did to our people. One of the reasons why I say, you shouldn't, we should do this to these agencies and the people that perpetrated all this to us, is because you don't turn on your own. And they've obviously shown that they're not our own. They're globalists. They're more loyal to the Vatican. They're more loyal to the fucking King of England. They're more loyal to the UN. They're more loyal to NATO. When you're employed in the United States government, you are loyal to us and us alone. And that's why all your assets should be taken. You should be given a fair trial and a proper hanging. But I think we should just go ahead and, twist off a pinky toe or something, just to give you a good what for when you, and then we take pictures of it and, we show it to the people that we're about ready to torture next and go, "Yeah, this is going to happen to you if you don't cough up the goods on, who you're working with and everything like that." And it doesn't matter if they do it or not. I mean, we should be able to go to the NSA, pull out all those files. Everything's filtered through the NSA. Everything digital you're seeing here, I mean, everything should go through the NSA. We just go there, pull out all that file work, find out who. We already know anything. So then we get them to confess. And once they confess, we'll just yank off that pinky toe anyways, or we'll just really cause some harm, and then we execute them. I would feel better about that. two wrongs don't make a right, but sometimes it'll make you feel good. I think that's how the saying goes. But anyway, so Tucker Carlson, because I love Tucker Carlson, it's the Art of the Weave, was on had Miranda Devine on his podcast, and it's entitled "If Trump wins, he needs to revoke security clearances for these rogue spies on day one." And I totally agree. However, I honestly think that we need to do more than just that. No, not just revoke. No, treason, jail, Guantanamo Bay. Like, we should take all the guards that are in the DC gulag and the prison warden, all that runs that shit, and then lock them up in that same prison with the same conditions of squalor. Like, refurbish the rest of the prison so the rest of the prisoners can, live their lives in like a somewhat decent, humane way. But that these motherfuckers should be kept in one corner that's just not, that they just didn't do it, so they can see what they did and they can live out what they did to these other innocent people. Anyways, that was just my feeling on it. So here's Miranda Devine, and it's a pretty good thing. Let me import. Oh, it's already imported in. Okay, let me maximize this. Right, and let's go ahead and hit play.
The laptop from hell that we at the New York Post wrote about and then got censored by big tech. At the time, that was before the 2020 election, and we didn't really understand like how this was happening. We just thought, oh, Twitter and Facebook are just woke and they want Joe Biden to win, so they're censoring us. But what we found out after the election, in part thanks to Elon Musk opening up the Twitter files.
Hope the volume's good.
And also because of a whole lot of once the Republicans took the House in 2022, or after 22, they got to subpoena a whole lot of documents and also interview witnesses. Plus, whistleblowers from the FBI told us that the reason that Twitter and Facebook censored us was because they'd been warned by the FBI for weeks ahead of our story even appearing to look out for a Russian hack and leak operation, likely in October, likely involving Hunter Biden. And so when Twitter and Facebook saw our story on October 14, 2020, they recognized it immediately as the Russian hack and leak dump.
How would the FBI know?
Well, the FBI was spying on Rudy Giuliani, who was Donald Trump's personal lawyer. They, unbeknownst to him, they had a covert surveillance warrant on his iCloud. And so they would have had access to the email that came to him in August of 2020 from John Paul MacIsaac, who was, I think you interviewed him,
Yes.
the laptop repair shop owner who had the laptop that Hunter had abandoned at his shop. And the FBI had actually subpoenaed that laptop in December of 2019. They had it in their possession. They'd had it for 10 months when they were telling Twitter and Facebook, oh, no, this is Russian disinformation, you must censor. So, and then a few days after we were censored, out comes the Dirty 51 letter. And it was the open letter by 51 former intelligence officials, most of them CIA, I think 42 ex-CIA, including John Brennan and Leon Panetta and James Clapper. There were 5 either directors or acting directors of the CIA.
John Brennan, Leon Panetta, these guys are total scum of the earth. The fact that these people under the Obama and Trump administration and the Bush administration, these guys are such scum, like Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney. These people are such fucking scumbags. I can't believe that they ever got into positions of power. I think John Brennan went to he was at the Council on Foreign Relations, or he was at a UN climate change thing. And he literally talks about geoengineering, spraying chemicals in the air. I mean, that's how evil these fucking people are. I know. I'll just continue.
who signed that dishonest letter that said that the laptop was Russian disinformation and therefore our reporting was Russian disinformation. They said it had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. So now if any of them respond to any questions about it and they just say, well, we didn't say it was Russian disinformation. We said information operation, same thing. And they knew because they leaked it to Politico and then the Washington Post and New York Times picked it up and all the headlines were Russian disinformation, the laptop. So that killed the story stone dead. And 2 days later, Joe Biden gets up on stage with Donald Trump in the last debate and he uses that letter to basically get out of jail free. And the story never, ever became anything. But what we now know is that that letter was not just signed by these formers, but that it was cleared by the internal CIA classification review board in record time. And even they saw it and thought it was overtly political just 3 weeks before an election. So they sent it upstairs to Gina Haspel, who was then the CIA director under Donald Trump.
Yeah. I remember when he nominated Gina Haskell or Haspel, or I think it's Haskell. Anyways, everybody went to bat for that bitch. Even like fucking Tim Kennedy's like, oh, so she waterboarded people. You know, she was doing her job. Yeah, I get that. That's fine. But the fact that I didn't know this until I watched this thing, that what Miranda Devine was saying is that it went all the way up to her and she fucking cleared it to fucking say, oh yeah, this letter's all right. It's Russian disinformation, everything like that. If I think that's what she's saying. Treason. You know, anybody that worked in the Joe Biden election that helped Joe Biden get elected, I think they should be hung for treason. My nephew died. He died of a fentanyl overdose. He wasn't a fucking saint, but that shit shouldn't have been coming over the border. And it did. Kamala Harris was the border czar. I blame them all. So don't expect me to have any mercy or even any compassion for anybody that works in the CIA, NSA, FBI, or what have you, IRS, DEI. I don't care what agent, AT. I don't care. I don't care. If you had anything to do with the fraud that happened in that last election, you're a traitor. You should be fucking killed. Fair trial, proper hanging, but I want to be the judge. And I'll fucking hang you for it.
And she gave it the green light to be published immediately.
Cunt.
And so
not her,
the Dirty
not
51 letter
Haskell
was actually a domestic CIA
should be
interference
killed.
operation with the election. And, you know, that just boggles your mind once
What
you
happened
realize.
to Gina Haspel?
Well, she obviously left and she now has a job in it's either a law firm or something. It's one of the, you know, stables that disloyal Democrat lovers end up going and making lots of money in.
But never punished. Retains
Of
her
course
security
not.
clearance.
Never
Of course,
punished.
all of them do. All the 51. And in fact, several of these
That's my problem.
signatories
Never
are
punished.
not just former CIA people, but they're active CIA contractors today. And
But why not pull that? I've never understood. No one has a right to a security clearance, period. And people have them pulled all the time. Unpopular people have their security clearances pulled, at which point they can't work for the U.S. government and they don't have access to information that I, as a taxpayer, don't have access to. Why not just pull their security clearances? Like every single one of them, day one.
well, I mean, that's what Donald Trump should have done.
Yeah.
But he had a couple of months, I guess, and it took a
What Donald Trump should have done was should have tried people for treason on day one. He should have released the 9/11 files. He should have done all that. That was my only problem with Trump. He did a great job. He wanted to work with everybody. He wanted to work with people across the aisle. He wanted to work with people in the deep state. But it's like that poem he talks about, you know, the snake. You knew damn well I was a snake when you brought me in. These people are snakes. You kill snakes, especially the venomous ones that you don't bring into your home.
While for this all to settle in, everyone to really understand what they did, that they actually did interfere with the election. Because, I mean, we know now from polls that enough Biden voters would have changed their vote if they'd known about Joe Biden's corruption. You know, even if they just knew that he'd been lying to the American people during the campaign when he said, I know nothing about my son Hunter's overseas business dealings. And yet we had on the front page an email from Hunter's Ukrainian sort of paymaster
Nazis.
from that company Burisma, who
Nazis.
had thanked Hunter for introducing him to his father in Washington, D.C., the then sitting vice president. We found out after the election that was a dinner at Cafe Milano, which you probably know in Georgetown, that Hunter...
Gone there all my life.
Yeah. Well, Hunter organized that for his father, the vice president, in a private room to meet with his Ukrainian business partners, plus Russian, plus Kazakhstanis. He did a 3-for-1 deal in April of 2015. And Joe Biden denied that he'd ever met these people. He sat down, he had dinner. And it was only when the Washington Post, just trying to fact check my story about the Cafe Milano dinner, their four Pinocchios people were Glenn Kessler was certain that, I'd made it up or it was wrong.
They're four Pinocchios people.
And the White House then admitted to Glenn Kessler, never to me, that yes, Joe Biden did go to that dinner, but he didn't do it for any nefarious purpose and he only stayed for a short time, which is not true because someone who was there told me that he was there for the entire dinner. And he might not, it's not like Joe Biden is going to talk about the finer details of, how much money you're going to pay Hunter, but he just has to show up and be charming and be the vice president for all the money to flow into Hunter's pockets.
Has he ever answered any substantial questions about this?
No. The only time that he's sort of asked the questions is actually by the New York Post's Washington correspondent Stephen Nelson and by Peter Doocy, from Fox News. And all they managed to do is shout questions across to him.
But in all the interviews that Biden has done as president in 4 years, no reporters ever said, let's just go through this for a second.
No. Oh, no. There was someone, I think, might have been CBS. It was a woman. They were standing up, but he gets very aggressive. And then the Axios, there was an Axios reporter too. Joe Biden, people underestimate his aggressiveness. He's very good at it. He's very nasty. And so if you ask him a question he doesn't like, it's almost like this narcissistic rage. It's quite frightening. And you see reporters recoil. And you ask him anything around Hunter's sort of, or the family corruption, because it's just also Joe's younger brother, Jim Biden. He gets very aggressive and nasty and pushes back. So he's successful in that.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of, I remember that one thing where Joe Biden was on the campaign trail when he was going against Trump. And he was in some sort of, Uber labor union fucking workers place or whatever. And one guy was asking him, was like, oh, you're going to take away my guns and everything like that. He's like, check your facts. Check, blah, blah, blah. Or the one time the guy's like, your son is just as corrupt as you, or you're just as corrupt as your son is. He's like, how many push-ups can you do? And he does get nasty. I wish I was the guy that asked the question. He got right in my face and be like, blah, because I don't care. You got Secret Service. I will smack you upside your fucking head. You fucking talk to me like that. And I don't know why people don't do that to these fucking politicians anyways. It's funny. If you're in the government and you're just an average Joe like me, let's say you're enlisted and you might break the law, or let's say you don't, but it looks like you do, and you just need the witnesses and everything that proves it that you didn't. They don't care. They will throw the book at you. Let me just give you a little example. Donald Trump and his supposed hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, So There was a guy that got out of prison, and he was with the Michael Avenatti guy, the guy that was Stormy Daniels' lawyer at the time, but he like screwed her out of everything. He actually told the guy, and the guy kind of like told the press, but it was covered up. But that Michael Cohen was actually having an affair with Stormy Daniels, and that was his way of paying her money or getting her money, is trying to get it through the Trump campaign. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, I paid this for you," and Trump's like, "Okay, whatever, that's fine." It's that thing we talked about, those the tapes, and Trump's like, "Okay, whatever." But Michael Cohen paid it, and Trump never fucking paid it off. And Trump never signed the non-disclosure agreement, but she did. And so the whole thing looks very fishy. But however, they're going after Trump, campaign finance laws, all that kind of stuff. They're going to throw the book at him for that. However, there's like $125 million fund in Congress for every congressman and senator, just in case they need to pay off somebody for sexual abuse or anything like that. Don't hear anything about that. No campaign finance laws. It's one big club and you ain't in it, like George Carlin used to say. And that's seriously, that's the disconnect that Washington D.C. has with us, is they just don't, they're pampered. And honestly, I think that they need to I just think, literally, we just need to take all their money away. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it until we get voted into Congress. But like, maybe we should like make a nationwide poll, or and just say, hey, should we take everybody's pay out of the administration? If you work for the FBI, no more pay. You work for ATF, no more pay. You work for IRS, no more pay. You work for Congress, if you're a congressman or you're a senator, no more pay. You have to now work a second job. You serve at the people because you want to, not because you're there for the money. Nancy Pelosi, all her money, all her and her husband's money, because we can totally prove that they've manipulated stock markets and they're rich as hell. We can prove that. That is easy to prove. Take all their money away. Put it back into the national. Let's start paying off our national debt by cleaning house first. Take all these motherfuckers, line them up, for treason, shoot them. The ones that are alive, let's see how they got all their money. Take it away from them. Now they're poor like the rest of us. Now they have to work a real job like the rest of us. You should have calluses on your hands to be a man. Fuck, women should have calluses too. If not, their fucking jaw better be strong. Anyways, I want to just go ahead and leave this with one last thing. And it is, Biden knows Kamala can't beat Trump.
Biden didn't think Kamala Harris could win.
Or be a good president, as I understand it.
Really?
Yeah. From the transition forward, he told Ron Klain and everyone else she needs to meet with foreign leaders all the time. And she did. I mean, she's had an unprecedented, kind of tutorial in that. We all know what happened. She did not run a good operation. There was leaking and her approval ratings were ridiculously low. Part of it was his own, pride in himself. But
Yeah.
the people around him, to a person, would not have told you that she could beat Donald Trump.
There you go. Yeah, try to clip that one right, but couldn't do it. It's all right. It's late. I'm gonna go to bed. That's my rant for tonight. Like when I'm sorry, if you're a government employee, you better do a good job, and you better do this because you love this country. Other than that, I fucking hate you people. You literally, you guys are all traitors. There's nothing you do good. Bureaucrats, you do nothing for us. All you do is sit around every day and try to author another law that goes on the books. When does it stop? When can we X out other laws? No, it's just more and more laws, more and more fines. All you do is, try to get us to pay you more fucking money, and that's your job? No, you're not a problem solver. You are the problem. Oh, and one more thing. Tim Pool is like, oh, I saw him today. He's like, oh, this might be my last podcast or something like that because, you know, everybody's like doing their own thing. And it's like, well, if that's the fact, then stop hiring friends. Oh, goodness. Sorry. Drank a little too much beer. You know, as you know, when I started working as an auto mechanic, I learned a very simple rule. You can't hire your friends, but you can make your boss your friend. It's that simple. If you hire friends, then friends expect a little bit more leniency, and that could screw up your fucking business. However, if you're hired and you got a boss and he's a cool guy, you can always make him your friend. And that way, you know, he doesn't expect anything less than you. And at the same time, you don't expect him to, like, you know, help you do whatever, you know, probably doesn't make no sense. You can, my old saying was, you can make your boss your friend, but you can't make your friend your boss. Because if you make your friend your boss, they're cut corners are cut, and everybody's gonna try to like be nice and everything, and the business just won't function. But you can make your boss your friend, because yeah, like right now, I'm friends with my boss. I love the guy, but when he tells me to do something, I'm gonna do it. He's still my boss. He was my boss first. I'm not gonna ask for leniency. So that's one of my messages for Temple, and just and I doubt Tim Pool's ever gonna see this, but Tim, quit being a fucking cheese dick, dude. You wanted to get on the internet to bitch about, you know, bitch about things. That's why I'm on the internet, and it's fun. I love it. You know, you got other things to do or what have you. Just that's fine. But you know what, mate? Why don't you wait till next year when after the election's done? I don't know. That's probably unfair to Tim Pool, but still. Yeah. Anyways, guys, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.